Okay, thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to be a part of this. First off, I want to say I am not a medical doctor. I am not a nurse. I'm not a healthcare giver, but so I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to pour into the lives and the service that the healthcare industry provides here. I'm really excited to be part of ICNH 2020. And we look forward to this next hour. I'm going to be the horse of a different color. So I'm not going to be talking about healthcare, medicine, sick people. I'm going to be talking about how to become a better healthcare giver based on the personalities and relationships. And so it's going to be a different type of a presentation than what you have been listening to, but I'm really excited to be here and I think you'll really enjoy this. Thank you so much for the United Research Forum for inviting me on this. I'm looking forward to it. I see that there's lots of people watching and listening right now. I'm not going to waste a lot of time on the introduction. I live in Sarasota, Florida, United States, and I'm actually in Indiana in a hotel room right now because I was speaking all day yesterday to a group of people. And so this is not my normal studio. So this is in a hotel room, and it's actually quite early here in the United States. So I'm super excited. I'm super fresh, and I'm ready to go. I want to tell you how to be a people-centered caregiver by understanding the 4 basic personality types. There's the D type, the I type, the S type, and the C type personality. All of us, all of you, myself included, are a unique blend of those 4 types. You're not just a D, you're not just an I, you're not just an S, and you're not just a C. You have some of all of those in you. And I'm going to show you today and share with you today what I think is one of the most life-changing models in relationships and human behavior, and because it's the most simple to remember. And my goal for you is to start using this today. Using this every time you walk into a patient's room, every time you interact with a fellow caregiver, with a doctor, with the family, diffusing situations, encouraging, learning how to communicate to the different patients that you do have by understanding the model of human behavior. And here's how the model of human behavior looks. I'm just going to let you look at this, and then I'm going to explain it. So look at it, and in your mind, remember that this model never changes. It is exactly like this. The D will always be in where it is. The I will always be where it is now. The S and the C. So I want you to just take a minute and just look at this and memorize it. Memorize the placement, memorize the colors, the letters, and then we're going to deconstruct it and then build it back step by step so that you can understand what all is behind this and how to use it. Okay? So most people have predictable patterns of behavior. We all know that people are different. I mean, we're all unique, but I'm here to tell you that we are uniquely different. But not only are we uniquely different, we are predictably different. And I'm going to show you a few patterns that you're going to start seeing that people are predictable. Even though we're all unique, and even though every one of us has free choice to make decisions and to behave in certain ways, but there are some predictable patterns of behavior, specifically personality styles. There are 4 basic personality styles, also known as temperaments. They blend together to determine your unique personality blend. To help you understand why you often feel, think, and act the way you do, the following, what we're going to be building is a graphic overview of what we call the model of human behavior. So there are 4 types, like the 4 quarters in this circle right here. You can see the 4 quarters. Before seeing the 4 parts as they stand alone, let's look at the circle in 2 parts. So I'm going to teach you 2 questions to ask about your patients, ask about your fellow caregivers, ask about your doctors, ask about your parents, ask about your spouse, your husband, your wife, your brother, your sister, anybody. The first question is, are outgoing or are they more reserved? Outgoing is at the top, reserved is at the bottom. It doesn't mean one is better than the other, one is more favorable. It's just we're different. So that's the first question. Outgoing people are more decisive and interactive. Reserved types are steadier and more careful. One type, again, is not better than the other. Both types of behavior are really important. Most of your doctors are not going to be really outgoing people. They're going to be more of a reserved people, and you're going to appreciate that even more after this presentation. So reserved people might need to learn how to become a little more dominant at times and more inspiring at times. But the outgoing people may need to learn how to be more supportive and cautious and slow down at some times. So that's the first question out of 2 questions. Number 1, are you more outgoing or reserved? Okay. And so we split the circle up in 2 here. And then there's another way to divide the circle, and it's side to side. And the second question that you can ask about yourself or about the people you work with or your patients, your doctors, your family, friends, is, are they more task oriented or are they more people oriented? Okay. Again, not right, not wrong, just different. So people that are more, you may recognize that some people are more task oriented. They're just more focused on getting the job done, and feelings and emotions are not part of the equation. It's just get the work done. Who cares about your feelings? And then there are other people that are more people oriented, that are more about your feelings and emotions and less fact-based than what the task-oriented people. So we divided the circle up top to bottom and side to side, and that's what creates the 4 quadrants. So let's go just a little bit deeper into what is outgoing and reserved. Again, we showed you the model, we broke it down, and we're building it back up so that you can understand it. So outgoing and active people are fast-paced. They make mistakes faster than what the reserved people do, but they also usually tend to get to success faster than what reserved people do, because they try harder, they try more, they're just a faster paced individual. They're also tend to be more optimistic, like they think, of course it's going to go well, instead of thinking that's not going to work. So they're naturally more optimistic. They tend to be a little bit more energetic, and yeah, let's do this. Let's get excited about it. And they're more passionate. They're more energetic. They tend to be involved. They're the first to raise their hand before thinking things through. They plow through a little bit quicker. They go faster. They're more involved. They're positive. They have a positive mindset. Again, they think optimistically. And the last one is they're more enthusiastic. They're just enthusiastic people. That's outgoing. Now let's look at the reserved. They're a little bit slower paced. Okay, they make mistakes a little slower. They get to success a little slower because they have to process and they have to think things through before they take action. They tend to be more cautious, more careful. They double check their work quicker than what the outgoing types of a personality does. They're more concerned. They're more concerned about how they feel. They're more concerned about how you feel. They're more concerned about things that could go wrong rather than things that could go right. They're a little bit more reluctant. Critical thinking, they think critically about things. They think deeper than the more outgoing type of a personality. And let's face it, the more reserved you are, the deeper, the more discerning they tend to be. So that's just a little bit more about the first question. Are you more outgoing or are you more reserved? That's the first question of 2 questions. Let's look at the other side. Task-oriented people are all about form. They want, function. They want programs, planning. They like to plan. They like to, it's more of a conveyor belt mentality. What you put on the conveyor belt is what you get off. They like to plan. They don't like surprises. They want to get the job completed, okay? They're all about projects. They think, what do I need to do next? Not who do I need to go visit, but what do I need to do? And then process. They like to know step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. People-oriented individuals are all about relationships, caring, sharing, emotions, feelings, and friendship. It's about people. Who am I going to see? Who is going to see me? It's an interactive, more of a personality. So when you ask those 2 questions, the first one is, are you more outgoing or are you more reserved? And you determine the answer about that person. The second question is, are they more task-oriented or are they more people-oriented? So if you can answer that question about yourself, I'm going to show you something amazing. So here's the completed model again, and here's the 2 questions. Are you more outgoing or are you more reserved? Okay. I personally am more outgoing than I am reserved. So I'm up here. And if you ask me the second question, am I more task-oriented or people-oriented? You're going to soon understand that I am more task-oriented than I am people-oriented. So if I'm outgoing and task, that puts me over in this quadrant. So I would be what we call a D-type personality. Now, we all are a unique blend. I don't have enough time today to get into the blends, but I am equally a I as well. So my blend is a DI, and then my midline, and then my S and C are below the midline. So when somebody asks me what I am as far as a personality, I say I am a DI type personality. So what does that mean? Let's look at this. So the D stands for dominant. That is the nomenclature for the symbol D. When I say D, you think dominant. So if you can, circle that word in your mind, dominant. So D stands for dominant. Dominant, direct, demanding, decisive, determined, doer. So I like to get things done. But I am equally an I type personality. So the nomenclature for I is inspiring. Circle that word in your mind, or if you can take a screenshot, that's fine too. But I am an inspiring person. I'm an influencing person. I'm impressionable, interactive. I love to be around people. I like to be around people that are doing things. Does that make sense? I'm impressive. I-type people are interested in people. Okay, so the D, their color is green. Green means go. It means growth. It means life. It means energy. Okay, D's move fast. They're outgoing. The I's, their color is red. The I type, I like to say that they are the sports cars of people. Okay, these are the Ferraris of people. They're exciting. They're flashy. They're fast. They're not always logical. Okay, to have a Ferrari is not always logical, but it's exciting. So this is the outgoing people. So I'm doubly outgoing, but I'm equally task-oriented and people. And then you have the S type. The S type are the reserved and people-oriented. Okay, so I want you to circle the word supportive in your mind. When I say S, I want you to think supportive. Supportive, stable, steady, sweet, status quo, shy. These are people like Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr. These are the people that cares deeply about other people's well-being. My guess is most nurses are going to fall into the S category. That's probably what drove them to get into this line of work, is because they have compassion, they have a passion to help people, to serve people. S's tend to hurt themselves before they hurt other people. They hate confrontation. They do not like to have strife. They don't like to have, they want peace and harmony. They want to work together as a team. Nurses tend to be, and school teachers tend to be an S-type personality. Their color is blue. Blue is the universal color of calm. It's a neutral color. The C-type, their color is yellow. Yellow means cautious. So circle that word in your mind, cautious. These are the reserved and task-oriented individuals. Most of your doctors, your lawyers, your engineers, your architects, your dentists are going to fall in a high S category or C category. They're cautious, calculating, competent, conscientious, contemplative, careful, critical thinking, cognitive. They live in their brain. Okay, I happen to have married a high C. My wife is a very high C. If I want to get to her heart, I have to go through her brain. It has to make sense to her before she becomes emotional and feeling and relational. It first has to go through the brain. The high I's and the S's, it's all in their heart. They want you to go through their heart before they become cognitive, before they start thinking. They want a relationship before process. So that's a overview of the model of human behavior. And so I want to dive deeper into each of the 4 categories. So I'm going to just throw a bunch of words up on the screen here. You can screenshot this. I think it's also being recorded so you can listen to it later. But the high D, these are the people that say, I want to change the world. I want to move mountains. I want to create large, these are your entrepreneurs. These are what we call the terminators. They like to conquer things. They like to finish things. They like to win. Our president, Donald Trump, is a high D. He loves the fight. Have you ever noticed that there are some people that are always there just looking for a conflict? They're probably going to be a high D. It's their fuel that they have to have. We're going to notice that here in just a little bit. But look at these words: dominant, demanding, direct, determined, decisive, doer, director, dogmatic, dreamer, diligent, dynamic. The last one is in red because it's defiant. High D's tend to be defiant. They don't like for you to tell them what to do. They like to tell you what to do. Okay. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just we are different, but we are predictably different if you know the 4 types of personalities. Percentages of population. This is an estimation worldwide. About 10% of the population, male or female, this has nothing to do with gender, it's strictly a personality issue, is about 10%. I jokingly say the reason it's so small is because God is merciful. There's no way that the world could handle more of the D-type personality. And there's truth to that, because we as high Ds, we come across as very strong. Well, it's like a strong cup of coffee. Okay. And so 10% of the world, 10% of your workplace is going to have high D as their predominant trait. Here's some examples: Donald Trump, Judge Judy, Dr. Phil, Hillary Clinton, they're all high Ds. They're not just high Ds, but that's their predominant trait. That's their number one. And then the rest of them come in and help shape and support. So it's interesting. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, we're not going to talk politics today. We're going to talk personality, but both of them are high Ds, but they're different. And it's because of the blend that they have. They have different blends, so it shapes their personality into a unique person. Their fuel, their basic needs, every D needs challenge, choices, and control. If they don't have any of these fuels or needs in their life, in their marriage, in their work, in their relationships, if there is not a challenge, a high D starts looking for a fight. They start looking for something to conquer. They start looking for some mountain to climb in a relationship or a project. Give them a challenge and they'll go to work on it. Okay. But they also want to make choices. They don't like to feel like they're cornered into not having a choice. And they like to have a certain amount of control. If they don't have any of these, they will create an environment into which they create a challenge and they create a place to where they do have choices. And they will grab control wherever they can if they feel like it's being taken away from them. So we have to, as high Ds, we have to learn how to be under control, not out of control. So we're going to look at the strengths of a high D. We all have strengths. We all have weaknesses, every one of us. Here's the strengths, the good things that a D can bring to the table. They're strong-willed. They don't give up easily. That's a good thing. They're determined. They're independent. They don't need other people to help them make a decision as much as some of the others. They're optimistic. They're practical. They're productive, decisive. They tend to be the leader of things. Okay. Leadership just kind of follows them around wherever they go, and they find leadership because of their strength, because of their boldness. And these are the lions of the jungle. These are the strong people. They're confident. This is a good list, but the key is when you push a strength to an extreme, it can become a weakness. In other words, when a strong-willed person is pushed to an extreme, it can feel and look like and turn into anger. When a determined person is pushed to an extreme, it can come across as being stubborn. So we have to be careful when the pressure comes as a high D. We have to be careful that we understand that it appears differently to other people when we're under pressure. It doesn't appear like a strength when it's pushed to an extreme. Let's look at under control and out of control. When a high D is under control, they can be very courageous. They'll go into the battle. They'll be the first off of the helicopter and onto the battlefield. They're going to be the last one. But when they're out of control, they can come across as reckless. They can be quick to respond. Yes, I'll do it. And that can come across as being rude when they're out of control. Goal-oriented, they can be impatient on the other side. Result-oriented, they can be pushy. Deliberate, they can become dictatorial. Self-confident, they can come across to other people as being conceited. Direct, it appears offensive. Self-reliant, arrogant. Straightforward, abrasive. Competitive, ruthless. So which would you rather be, under control or out of control? Here's what I'm going to tell you. When a D is under control, they are the most powerful being on the planet. When they are out of control, they are the most dangerous being on the planet. So I pray, I try to always, with my personality, to remain under control and allow my strengths to be strengths, not push to an extreme, and not be out of control with my personality, because I can be very dangerous if I am out of control as a high D. Some of you have married a high D. In fact, 90% of the time, the S's marry the high D. The time. So the really nice person, the giving, the sharing, the emotional person, the S's marry the high D's. Opposites attract, but then if we're not careful, opposites will attack. So as you're working with people, you may come across some patients that are high D type. They're demanding. And you're going to learn here in just a little bit how to relate and communicate to make that a more pleasant interaction. But remember their needs: challenge, choices, and control. So what we really need is a balance between these, the strengths and our weaknesses. D types, they make good administrators, athletes, boxers, builders, business owners. I won't read this whole list. You can just look at it. Military, special forces, motivators, news anchors, race car drivers, truck drivers, fighter pilots. These are the aggressive people that we see in society. And so the D types like activity. They don't like to sit still. They like to be moving. They like bigness. They like power. They like big things. They like challenges. They like competition. So if you have a team of people, the D types are really going to be competitive, and they're going to want to have competitions at work. They like to debate. They like doing things. D types can be critical of poorly performed tasks. Okay, so they're very critical of how you do your job, and then they're vocal about that. They complete amazing amounts of work. They get a lot of things completed. They may believe that approval and encouragement lead to complacency. They tend to seek leadership roles. They may need to learn to delegate responsibility. As high Ds, we think we can conquer the world by ourselves. And you'll become a stronger high D if you learn how to delegate effectively, and learn how to delegate some of your responsibilities. We might unintentionally intimidate people. I've been told that I am an intimidating person when I'm working because I'm so intense about it. My speaking coach has said, David, you got to smile more because you're an intense person when you speak. So if someone is intimidating, a lot of times they don't intentionally mean to be intimidating. It means that they are passionate about what they do, and the face becomes intense. They become intense, and it might unintentionally intimidate people. D types are goal-oriented, they're intense, they're industrious, they're performance conscious, they're self-confident, and they're firm. They don't change very quickly. They're determined. Okay. D types don't like indecision, talk without action, activities without a goal, slow activities. They don't like unproductive people. They don't like being told what to do. They want you to be quick, confident, productive, to the point, specific, and driven. Jokingly, a high D might say, don't tell me about your labor pains, just show me the baby. Okay, so that's their idea. They want to have bottom line. Don't tell me all the stuff that you did on vacation, just get to the point. This is the D type personality. D types in your organization, school, business, team, marriage, work, that are, when I say D, you think dominant, enjoy making decisions to solve problems so they can reach their goals. That's really, in a nutshell, what Ds enjoy. They enjoy making decisions so that they can solve a problem so that they can reach their goals. Challenge, choices, and control. Making decisions, solve problems, reach goals. That's their fuel. Now let's look at the I-type personality a little bit deeper. They're inspiring, influencing, inducing, impressive, interesting, impressionable, important, interchangeable, interested in people, imaginative, impulsive, illogical. These are the life of the parties. The D-type personalities were the terminators. They like to conquer things. The I-type personality are the rejuvenators. They like to bring life to the party. These are the sports cars of people. These are the fun people. They love to make people laugh. They like to be around people. They get bored really quickly if there is no person around. They have to be around people. They have short attention spans. These are people that are really good at sales, at marketing. They're probably not going to be in technology as often. They're going to be more in a people setting, sales, marketing, HR, being around people. Percentages of population is 25 to 30%. So in your team, you're going to have about 25 to 30% that have their predominant trait. Remember, it's a blend, but their predominant trait is going to be an I-type personality, 25 to 30%. Here's some examples. Jim Carrey, Will Smith, Oprah Winfrey, Ellen DeGeneres. All of these are entertainers. They're energetic. Dolly Parton would be a good example of a high I-type personality as well. Here are their basic needs. They have to have a certain amount of recognition, approval, and popularity. If they don't have it, if they don't get it in their workplace, in their marriage, in their church, in their life, they will do things that get them recognition, approval, and popularity. So it is extremely important that you look at your team and you understand your team and understand that this is like a fuel that they need in order for their engine to run. If they don't have their fuel, they start shutting down. They start dying inside. They have to have a certain amount. You can have too much and you can have not enough. We have to learn how to control ourselves as high I's, that we don't like only run on those three, that we understand that other people need different things. But it's important that we understand that the high I's need those three fuels: recognition, approval, and popularity. The strengths of a high I, again, these are the fun-loving people, are friendly, compassionate, carefree. They don't like to have like structure around them. They're more free-spirited. They're talkative. They're outgoing, they're enthusiastic, they're warm, they're personable, and they're fun. But again, those are the strengths. But when they're pushed to an extreme, when they're under pressure, it can turn into a weakness. Okay. And again, under control and out of control, we have a choice to control our behaviors. It's our choice. There are things that trigger responses, and it's up to us to respond, not react. But an under control I is a good thing. An out of control I can be a alarming thing. I'll just say that. They can be optimistic when they're under control, but they can be unrealistic when they're out of control. They have these crazy ideas when they're out of control. When they're persuasive, under control, they can be, or out of control, they can be manipulative, excited, or they can be emotional, out of control. Under control, they can be communicative, but out of control, it can turn into gossip. Did you hear what they did? Did you hear what she did? Oh my goodness. Okay. So it's out of control. Spontaneous, they can become impulsive when they're out of control. Outgoing, or they can be unfocused. Hey, look, there's a squirrel. And their attention span is quickly drawn away from what they should be focusing on when they're out of control. Expressive, they can be excitable. Involved, directionless when they're out of control. When they're under control, they can be very imaginative and creative, but when they're out of control, they go into la la land, they go into daydreaming mode. Under control, they can be very warm and friendly and inviting people into their circle, but out of control, they can appear to be very purposeless. Again, what we really need is a balance between strengths and weaknesses. I types may make good actors, airline attendants, auctioneers, broadcasters, clowns, coaches, comedians, reporters, salespeople, teachers, because they're engaging, they're exciting. And you can see the list here. I types like exposure to people, lots of activities, making people laugh. These are going to be the ones that play, that say jokes, they play pranks on you, short-term projects to be on the go. They like prestige. They like to be noticed. I types enjoy making people happy. They love to see you having a great time. They can be higher than a kite or lower than a skunk. These are American terms. Hope you can understand. They're very emotional roller coaster. They can be on top of the world or they can be depressed very quickly, depending on if they get their fuel, their basic needs of recognition, approval, and popularity. They have lots of friends. When they are in front, when you are in front of them, you are their best friend. And then they're in front of somebody else and now they're your best friend. Okay, so they have lots of friends. Everywhere they go, they connect with people. May believe that talking and doing are synonymous, that talking equals actually doing it. In their mind, it tends to sometimes become synonymous. They might need to focus a little bit more, learn how to put blinders on so that you don't see the distractions and you're able to focus. They take pleasure in playing while they work. If work is not exciting to a high I, they probably are not going to last very long at that particular job. So they like to have fun. I types are fun to watch. They're great starters. Yeah, sure, I can do this, and they'll start something, but they're not the best closers. They're not the best finishers. They start, but they don't always finish. And it's because they're quickly bored. They're likable. They're prone to exaggerate. If a fish is this long, they can talk. And the longer they talk, the bigger the fish becomes. So they're prone to exaggerate. So we need to be careful if you're a high I that we don't exaggerate the truth, because in your line of work, nursing, healthcare, exaggeration can mean life or death in some situations. Easily excitable. They get excited about almost anything if it's exciting. I types don't like being ignored, being ridiculed, looking bad. It's all about how they look to people. Being isolated. They don't like to be by themselves. Doing repetitive tasks. They don't like constraints. I types want you to be fun, responsive, stimulating, positive, upbeat, and enthusiastic. Okay. I types in your organization, your school, business team, marriage, your work. I types who are, when I say I, you think, inspiring, love to interact with people so everyone has a great time. They not only want to have a great time, but they want you to have a great time. They don't want to have a great time at the party, but they want you to have a great time at the party. They want everyone to have fun. This is the I-type personality. And what is so interesting is 90% of the time, the I-type marries the C-type. The fun, exciting person marries the extremely cognitive, cautious, careful person. Opposites attract. Now, let's look at the S-type. These are the nicest people in the world. These are nurses. They care deeply. They're supportive, steady, stable, secure, serving, sweet, submissive, shy, status quo, meaning whatever works, let's not change it. Let's just keep loyalty. They're very loyal. Sentimental, sameness, and yes, sucker. Let me explain what that means, because I know a lot of you may not be from the United States, but sucker means that you're easy to say yes to everything. Okay. There is a word in the English language that is very difficult for some high S's to say. It's 2 letters. It begins with an N and ends with a O, and it's pronounced no. S's are like hardwired to say yes. They're hardwired to help you, to serve, and to support you. They do not like confrontation. So when they say no, to them, it feels like it's a confrontation. It feels like we're going against my very nature to support you when I say no. So that's why they appear to be a sucker, and that means gullible or easily manipulated. 90% of all sexual abuse victims, male or female, are S's. It breaks my heart because they're the most sincere, they're the most supportive, but it's because they don't like, it's not their nature to push away, to reject. It's their nature to support. It's their nature to nurture. So I'm giving you permission as a high S, if that's what you are, a very high S, to say no. Because when you say no, you say yes to other things that are probably more important. So that's kind of a diversion of the talk here, but I always want to talk about that when I talk about the S's, because they're the nicest people, but they're also the easiest to take advantage of. And remember, I said 90% of the time, the S's marry the D's. D's are typically, when they're out of control, easy or quick to take advantage of people. And so we have to be careful with that dynamic. They're attracted to each other, but at the same time, they have the greatest potential for relationship problems, even though they're attracted to each other. And it's because of the differences. Percentage of population is about 30 to 35%. There's more S's in the world than any other personality type. And I believe that's because God is a good God, and he understands that you are the glue that keeps all of us crazy people together. The S's could not, the society could not function without the S's. I'm so grateful for S's in my life. I'm so grateful that our healthcare workers, the nurses, have a heart of compassion. I'm so grateful that they enjoy serving, that they enjoy supporting. Doctors could not be doctors without nurses, without S's. A lot of doctors are going to be C's and S's, like a combination of those, and nurses as well. But primarily, we find that most nurses are high S's. Here's some examples. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Paula Abdul, Mother Teresa, Gandhi. Here's their fuel: appreciation, security, and assurance. They need their fuel so that they can give it away. This is why everyone loves the S's, because they give more than anybody else. They give their fuel, they give what they need, or they need so that they can give. They give appreciation, they give security, they give assurance. Appreciation, oh, I appreciate what you do so much. They say thank you, but they get the least amount of it. They give it, but do they get it? And so my challenge to the high D's, the I's, and the C's, let's start appreciating the S's a little bit more in society. You're going to see the world change when the rest of the personality types show appreciation and give them a little bit more security and give them a little bit assurance, because that's what they give. You cannot give unless you receive. The strengths of a S are calm, they're dependable, they're easygoing, meaning that, you know, if you need them to change, they will change for support. Trustworthy, efficient, practical. They're conservative, they're diplomatic, and they're very funny. They're humorous. They don't find humor in people like comedians. They find more humor in situations. These are the true humorists. Again, when they're pushed to an extreme, it can turn into some weaknesses as well. Under control versus out of control. They can be very relaxed when they're under control, but out of control, they tend to start shutting down, lacking initiative. When they're under control, they're very reliable, but then they can also be very dependent when they're out of control. Cooperative, used by others. Stable, they can be indecisive when they're out of control. Good listeners, or when they're out of control, they can shut down again. They can be uncommunicative. When they're under control, they're very single-minded, meaning they're focused, but out of control, they lack flexibility. Steadfast, or they can become resistant to change. Soft-hearted, they can become easily manipulated because of their soft heart. We talked a little bit about that earlier. Systematic and out of control, they can just slow down because they're being pushed, and so they slow down when they're being pushed. Amiable, they can become resentful. And what we really need is a balance again. S-types make good artists, chefs, childcare workers, counselors. Let's see, nurses is down here, painters, pharmacists, pastors, planners, waiters and waitresses. It's a serving mentality. S-types like peace. They like stabilizing things. They like helping others. Friendly environments. They like to finish the job. They like teamwork. S-types consider the feelings of others. They like to take their time. They stay with proven methods. They will support you. They're very sentimental. They want to be appreciated. S-types are agreeable, compassionate decision makers. They make decisions depending on what they think will affect you. So they're compassionate about how they make decisions. They make decision with compassion for you in mind. They are the nicest people in the world. They're loyal friends. They have the same friends from childhood all the way up to for life a lot of the times. They're concerned about how to start. They want to know how you want things to be done. They're great finishers. They stick to it. They finish the task. S-types don't like insensitivity. They don't like when someone else is being ridiculed, challenged, made fun of. They don't like that. They don't like misunderstandings. They want to be clear. Clarity is kindness. They don't like surprises. They don't like intense conversations. They want peace and harmony. So again, the D's are the terminators. The I's are the rejuvenators. The S's are the accommodators. They want to accommodate people. They don't like sarcasm. They don't like being pushed. S-types want you to be kind, pleasant, caring, patient, understanding, and gentle. And yet they marry the D's. It's amazing. It's amazing. Opposites attract. S-types in your school, business, organization, team, wherever you work. S-types who are, when I say S, you think supportive. That's right. Seek to maintain accepted routine so that they can make sure everyone is comfortable. It's not about them. It's about you. It's about serving. That's why I love the S-type personality. Let's look at the C-type. Cautious, competent, cognitive, careful, calculating, critical thinking, compliance wanting, conscientious, correct, conformist, consistent, cold. They tend to be cold because feelings and emotions have nothing to do with facts. These are your doctors, your lawyers, your engineers, your architects, your dentists, your accountants. You wouldn't want a high I as your brain surgeon. You wouldn't want a high I as your accountant. You wouldn't want a high I as a architect. You want a high C for that. But the trade-off is, because they're so factual, because they are so concerned about being correct, about being like complying with the standards, that they can come across as cold to other people's feelings. That's how other people view high C's some of the time. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that, because the D's and the C's have the most potential of hurting other people's feelings. Okay? And it's simply because they're task-oriented instead of being people-oriented. Not right, not wrong, just different. And once you understand that, then you can make adjustments on the way you relate and communicate to people so that they can have a different outcome. So let's dive in. Percentage of population is about 20 to 25%. Here's some examples. Diane Sawyer, ABC News. I've seen her interview someone that has just lost a loved one in their family. And this is what she said on TV. She said, "I'm so sorry for your loss, but tell me what happened." And when I saw that, I understood she's a high C-type personality. The emotion, the feelings was cold. "I'm sorry for your loss, but tell me what happened." She lit up, her face lit up when it came time to the process. What are the facts of this? What happened? How did it happen? They enjoy the process, not the people all the time. Diane Sawyer, Clint Eastwood. Next time you watch a Clint Eastwood movie, count how many times he smiles. 0. He very seldom smiles, but he's always the person in the movie that brings justice, that brings the law, that brings the correctness to the situation. Tiger Woods, Martha Stewart, those are all high C's. Their fuel, their need, what they need in their life is quality answers, value, and excellence. Aren't you glad that your architect wants quality answers, value, and excellence? Aren't you glad? Aren't you happy? Aren't you grateful that your doctors value quality answers, value, and excellence? They're not emotion-based, they're fact-based. But the trade-off is they can come across as cold and indifferent to other people's feelings. But when my life is on the line, I want a high C. I want a high C making decisions about my life, because they are concerned about the facts. Emotions will grow back. Your life matters. The strengths of a high C: they're gifted, analytical, sensitive, perfectionist, they're aesthetic. In other words, they look good, they're crisp, they're clean, they're put together, they're idealistic, they're loyal, they're self-sacrificing and thorough. But again, when they're under pressure, their strengths can turn into weaknesses. When they're under control versus out of control, they can be orderly or compulsive. They can be logical or critical. They can be intense or unsociable. They can be curious or prying. They can be teachable or easily offended if they're out of control. Under control, they can be cautious or fearful. Under control, they can be correct, or out of control, they can become inflexible. They can be questioning or doubtful, conscientious or worrisome, precise or picky, perfectionist. What we really need is a balance between your strengths and being under control. C-types, they make good accountants, architects, artists, authors, bankers, philosophers, photographers, physicians, pilots. I fly every week, commercial airlines. I don't want a high as my pilot. I want a high C. I want to make sure that they know what they're doing. I don't want emotions coming into their decision making when we're 30,000 feet in the air. I value my life. I want a high C in the captains, professors, scientists, teachers. So you can see the list here. C-types, they like consistency. They like detailed work, excellent work. Creativity, perfection. They like getting it right. They don't like to be wrong. In their mind, they are hardly ever wrong because it's their nature. It's they're wired. It's in their DNA, not really their DNA, but it's like their DNA to be right. C-types think in concepts. They might seem uncaring. I believe the C-types care more about things being right than any other personality type. They want to exceed expectations. They want to go over and beyond. They want to make sure. They want to double check. They have lots of questions. They want to understand. They see the pitfalls. They see what could go wrong instead of what could go right. My wife, I said she's a high C. She sees the 5 things that could go wrong with my idea when I see 500 things that could go right. She sees the 5 that could go wrong. That's the perfect fit for me because it brings balance into my life. C-types are difficult to please at times. They're focused on excellence. They're dedicated to the task. They can spend 30 years researching something and becoming a master at that one thing. They're self-sacrificing, they're logical, they're attentive to details. C-types don't like being criticized, unnecessary interruptions. They don't like ambition without a plan. They don't like mistakes. They don't like mediocrity. They don't like illogical changes. C-types want you to be open-minded, accountable. They want you to be structured, accurate, analytical, reasonable. They answer questions with questions at times. C-types in your organization, school, business, team, work, whatever, who are, when I say C, you think cautious, seek the facts and follow procedures so they can uphold principles. That's what drives them. Seek the facts so they can follow the procedures so that they can uphold principles. They want things to be right. Here's just a really quick guide. It's kind of just a fun little thing to look at. So let me see if I can move this graph over here where I can see. So the D type, their color is green. The I type, the color is red. The S, their color is blue. And the C type, their color is yellow. The questions that a D type asks is what? What is it? What does it do? What does it cost? The I type is, it's all about who. Who's going to see me? Who am I going to see? It's enough about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think about me? That's what an I type thinks. The S type is how. How do you want me to do this? How do you want me to start? How can I serve you? The C type is why. Why did you do it this way? Why did you choose this color? Why did you put it here? Why did you do this? It's why. Um, if let's have a little bit of fun here. If the personalities were animals, the D would be a Doberman Pinscher, a dog that is very aggressive. Once they latch on, they don't let go. They're very tenacious. The I's are the fluffy puppies. Who doesn't love a fluffy puppy? The S's are a cat. What happens when you start petting a cat? They start purring. They just want harmony. They don't like conflict. The minute there's a loud noise, they leave and hide. These are the S's. The C's are a tropical fish. Boy, they look really good, but it's hard to get close to them. Okay? Feelings and emotions are private. They're guarded. Okay? Their vehicles, luxury or power for the high D. They tend to drive either a luxury vehicle or a powerful vehicle, a strong engine. The high I's, they're usually the sports cars or the fun, bright colors. The S's are you're going to be your minivans, your family reliable cars that they drive. And a high C typically will drive a quality, economical, efficient car. Philosophies, let's jump down to the philosophies. I want it yesterday. Like it's nothing is ever fast enough for a D. For an I type, let the good times roll. Well, let's have a great time. There's a party going on. Let's go. The S's, they want peace and harmony. Working together, we can do it. The C's, don't show all of your cards. Guarded. When my wife and I play cards with friends, my wife has her cards really close to her chest. Her other hand is hiding it, and she's making sure nobody is looking. When I play cards, I'm talking and I use my hands and I'm showing my cards to everybody. And my wife says, honey, your cards are showing. And I'm like, wow, that's a great hand. And what really drives her nuts is when I win, even after showing all my cards. So the D's, they need a challenge. The I's need the recognition, and the S's need appreciation. The C's need quality answers. The D's want results. The I's want to be liked. The S's want to be reassured, and the C's want to be understanding. They want understanding. So here it is, once again, the model of human behavior. The D are the terminators. They like to conquer things. They like to finish things. They like to win. They like to fight. The I's are the rejuvenators. They bring life to the party. They bring excitement. They're the rejuvenators. The S's are the accommodators. They want everybody to get along, peaceful harmony. And the C's are what we call the calculators. They think, they calculate things deeply. So what do you get? This is humorous, but it's designed to help you to remember it. What do you get when you get a room full of D's? You get an autopsy because somebody's going to die. They love to fight. What do you get when you get a room full of I's? Party. You're going to have a great time. It's going to be a great party. When you get a room full of S's together, what do you get? You get a campfire. Everybody's holding hands and you're singing Kumbaya. What do you get when you get a room full of C's? You get a law firm. Okay? So again, terminators, rejuvenators, accommodators, and calculators. The C type are yellow. The D types are green. The I types are red and the S types are blue. The D's, their symbol is an exclamation point. The I's, their symbol is a star. They're the star of the show. The S's are a plus and minus because they're neutral. If you ask an S most likely where they want to go eat, Most likely they'll say wherever you'd prefer. And the C's are a question mark. My name is Dave Kauffman, and I'm going to close this talk like I always do all around the world, wherever I speak. I can say this crowd right here has been by far, and I mean this with all sincerity, has been by far the most recent. Thank you, and God bless you. I'm going to turn it.
I just want to tell you, David, it was an absolutely amazing presentation.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I've been to 300 conferences. I give myself a lot of lectures. I was so impressed. I tweeted a lot about it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
It's a personality. A leader has to bring everyone together and work together. An absolutely brilliant explanation, everything. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And, it's a pleasure to listen to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Here's what I want to say, that all of life, all of business, all of work, all of everything in life comes down to relationships. Everything is about a relationship. So if I can help people have better relationships by learning how to communicate and relate to the different types of personalities, I feel like I am doing what I was created to do to make an impact on the world. So your words are very, very kind. Thank you so much.
And let me tell you, David, that's what I do in India. That's what I do in UK now. I'm mentoring nearly 300 people.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that is what life is all about.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you so much, Dr. Kauffman. I don't know how to phrase my question, but how can you relate, as we know, behavior is learned, right? So how can, sometimes they will say, childhood, if they have like this kind of experience in childhood, can they be affected by this personality or, that's why I said I don't know how to figure it out, but I was just thinking about childhood experience and how they become when they become adult, their personality. Is there an influence on that?
Yes, so let me explain two things. You have your personality, and this is my belief. Not everybody shares this belief about God. God, I believe, gives you your personality. You cannot change your personality. You can change your behavior, okay? And then your environment. I usually ask this question in front of a live audience. Do you behave differently at a funeral than you would at a baseball game? The answer is yes, you behave differently.
Yes.
And then I follow it up with a second question. Did your personality change? And the answer is no. Your behavior changed because of the environment that you're in. And so childhood is part of your environment. The hurts in life that we have in life is part of our environment, and it causes us to behave a certain way. So I never, when I'm coaching, when I'm trying to help people, when I'm working with marriages, when I'm working with employer to employee, I never want to change the personality, because I believe God does not make a mistake when he gives you your personality. I want to figure out what happened in the environment and change the environment so that their personality and behavior can become congruent with each other, not separated. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for the question. Any other questions? My flight is about 8 hours away, so I can be here as long as you'd like to answer questions.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Yeah. I'm asking, actually, this is not the questions, but just to clarify. As you explained before, it's about task people, which is task is a high tech, and then the other one, people, is high touch. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yes. Personally, I'm in the position of people in high touch actually, but then I'm also in the positions of, as you explained before about the I and S. Here is outgoing, people-oriented, and reserved, people-oriented. But in the C part, like in a caution, sorry, I can okay, cautions, calculating, competent, conscientious, and careful. I'm not sure because that's kind of people should be competitive, right? And then also should be ambitious. So, in which part of that kind ambitious characters would be in this four part, like D, I, C, or S? Thank you.
So, okay, so if I understood your question right, what category should an ambitious person be in? Okay, so again, we are a blend of all four. So that I constantly want to remind you that we are a blend of all four. Typically, the D types are very ambitious. Okay, but the D's and the I's have some things in common, and the D's and the C's have some things in common. The D's and C's, let me bring my screen back up, and I want to show you guys something that I think will bring clarity. Okay, the D's and the C's, they are task oriented, right? And the D's want results and the C's want results. The D's, the difference is the D's want results quickly. The C's want results with quality. But they're both task oriented. They're both ambitious. They're just ambitious about other things. 65% of the world lives over here on the people side. There's more people that in the world that are people oriented than they are that are task oriented. 90% of all conflicts are side to side, from task oriented people to people oriented individuals. Very few conflicts happen in life because you're too outgoing or you're too reserved. There's hardly any conflicts this way. It's always this way between the task-oriented people and the people-oriented individuals. So you can have all four types individually to be ambitious. They're just going to be ambitious about different things. The I type, they're people-oriented. The S types are also people-oriented. But what drives the I type is excitement, adventure, and fun. What drives the S on people is sincerity and supporting and serving. They're much more sincere. But if you would ask me which of these four types are the most ambitious, I would definitely say the high D type is the most ambitious. Probably a little more reckless ambition, and because the D's say, I want to change the world. The I's say, great, can I help you market it? Can I help you get it out? And that's exciting. The S's, what can I do? How can I serve you? And the C's are, have you even thought about this? Do you have step 1, step 2, step 3? So that's kind of the cycle of which, we play at in the different types of personalities. Thank you for the great question.
You are most welcome.
Any other questions?
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, you can hear me, right?
I can, yes. Lidi Soto.
Okay. Yes, I just want to share a personal experience. So recently I applied for a job. I'm a registered nurse. So after my personality test, it came back that I am is personality, what I am, right? This position that I was applying for, it's something related with management, and I didn't get the job. They were looking for some different.
Okay, I'm getting some interference. I think there's two people talking. So go ahead, Leedy.
Okay, so I didn't get the job. It was a management related offering position, and then I was obviously very disappointed. And I thought, okay, I can't change my personality, so I develop like the skills that a company that's looking for a registered nurse or for management is looking for. Because you say, okay, we were born with that personality. That's what God gave us. Can I develop skills and move to another personality, or how to do that?
Yeah, so it was breaking up there a little bit, but I think you're asking if you're weak in a certain area, can you develop that area? And the answer is absolutely yes. Let me explain it this way. On the intense assessment. So this what I taught today was the basic cognitive assessment by asking the two questions. There is an assessment. You can go to my website. I will share that before I close, and you can purchase an intense assessment that gives you your exact blend and spits out a 30, 60 page report about you. And so for me, my DI is all the way at the top. I'm maxed out as a high D and a high I. My S and C are all the way down at the very bottom. I'm very, very weak. I'm very low in the S and the C. My greatest growth potential, if I want to develop myself into a better person, I would focus and try to behave more like an S and learn how an S thinks and develop that and the C type to become a more well-rounded person, a more balanced person. I will never be a high S. I will never be a high C, but I can learn and train myself to behave as a high S and a high C, which will bring myself to appear to be more balanced. And another way to describe it, we all have 4 rooms in our personality house. We have the D room, the I room, the S room, and the C room. I spend most of my time in the DI room. But if I want to go to my S room and my C room, I literally have to walk a long ways down the hallway to enter that room. And so I need to spend more time in those rooms to develop myself. So yes, you can grow. It's kind of like exercising. We all have muscles, and if you exercise it, it will grow. And so I would just say, work on the areas that you feel like you need to grow in and learn how those people act and start playing in that room a little bit more. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next question.
Hello, doctor.
Hi. Kauffman.
Yeah, my name is Manuel. I'll say I have a problem, and the problem is I've always been the people's choice. They believe in my abilities, but myself, I don't believe in I'm always timid because of how I grew up, the environment in which I grew up. A very strict dad, a very strict mom. So sometimes, even when I'm right or what I'm about to do is correct, what I'm about to say is correct, I find it difficult to say it out. It's always within me. And sometimes I end up saying the wrong thing, or even I even forget about what I know it's right. I even forget about it. And so people keep telling me, I also function very well when I'm alone. When I'm in my own space, I get things done perfectly. But the moment I'm surrounded by people, I get confused. I'm kind of tensed. I I'm actually a mess when there are a lot of people around me. So I want to know how I can uh, close that gap,
Okay.
do away with the timidity, and be more of myself and do things regardless of who is around me.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for sharing that. I know it's a vulnerable place to be sharing it, and I appreciate that. Listen, we're friends. You, all of you, and you are my friends. I'm your friend. I'm here to help. And I may not have the complete answer, but first of all, I just want to say this: your past never defines your future unless you let it. So I don't know what all happened in the past, but our hurts in life shape us who we are. But the good news is you can overcome anything that you decide that you want to overcome. I'm going to share my story because I think it's going to help you. I am slightly dyslexic, and at when I was growing up in school, when it was my turn to read in front of everybody, my brain would go mush. I could not think, I couldn't pronounce, I couldn't even speak. Um, and growing up, even until I was 13, 14 years old in church, when it was my turn to read in Sunday school, I would have to like figure out what section I'd think ahead. Okay, that person is reading, and I'd count how many people it would be to my turn. And I would say, okay, this is my verse. And I would go word by word and practice in my mind so that when it was my turn to read, I wouldn't be a mess. I tell you that story because today I get to speak in front of thousands of people every year, and I get to impact people. And I'm going to tell you, I wanted what I didn't have more than what I had. And that's what I drove. And so my challenge to you is to understand and basically the fact that you were able to tell me that that is your problem, you're halfway there already. So one of the best things that I did was before I would start, I would say, I'm dyslexic. So if I say a word backwards, you can understand. And so I basically told everyone my problem. And it lowered the expectation in my mind, their expectation of me. And they said, oh, okay, so he has dyslexia. And so they actually became more sympathetic, and it lowered my stress level. And guess what? Lower stress allowed me to overcome it. And today it's not even a problem. I actually love getting in front of a crowd and reading and speaking, and I even sing in front of people. So the fact that you're admitting it, that you're dealing with it, keep being vulnerable, keep telling people that this is the challenge that you have. People identify with challenges or problems that other people have much more than they identify with their uniqueness or what makes them great. So God bless you in that. Hopefully that helps you. From a personality standpoint, not everything can be explained on a personality. There are some psychological things that have happened that cause you to behave that are not part of your personality. So And I'm not a psychiatrist. I am a human consultant. So I hope that helps you. It was mostly an encouragement to just keep working on it, keep admitting the challenge, and practice. Continue practicing speaking, like think a thought and say the thought. And I think that's going to help you a lot.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful.
Thank you.
I think it helps. Yeah.
Good. Any other questions or comments? I appreciate the interaction.
Yes, I was asking. Let's say you said you have 4 type of personalities, and I'm asking, could a person have all the personalities, behaviors?
I think I understood you. Something about we have all 4 personalities. Is that?
Yes.
Okay. So there is what we call a level blend, and a level blend has equal amounts of all 4. Okay. 1 in 500 people are going to be a level blend. Let me pull something up on a separate PowerPoint. So this is what I want to show you. This is what we call the level blend. All 4 types, the DISC, are what we call in the average segment. Okay. They have not less of, but equal amounts of all 4 types. Okay. 1 in 500, they're extremely flexible and able to adjust to almost any situation. So here's how I'll explain it. Your 4 rooms of the personality house are the D, I, S, and the C. There is no hallway between the rooms. It's simply doors leading into each of the room, and you're able to be a D when you need to be a D. You can be an I when you need to be an I, an S, and a C. From the outside looking in on a person that is what we call a level blend, it's extremely impressive. Other people are impressed with how flexible and they're good at almost everything that they do. But inside of that person, there is a conflict because the D and the S are conflicting with each other. The D wants to get an amazing amount of work done and be a strong person, but the S is equal and it's fighting against the 2. And then on the other side, they want to be a high I, the fun-loving, adventurous person, but the C is saying, no, slow down. We have to be logical here. So there's turmoil inside of this person. And I just want to say this, in every blend, there is turmoil. There is an internal conflict. My conflict is, let me just go to a page here and I'll show you what my conflict is. You guys are getting a bonus here. I wasn't planning on sharing this. So let me just show you right here. So I am a DI type personality. My graph is, both of them are up here. This is just an example. But my internal conflict is between speed and fun. How do I get stuff done? How do I get work accomplished, but yet have fun? My wife, her blend is a CD. It's between quality and perfection. For a high S, let's go to the high S. For an SD type personality, it would be between how can I be a nice person, but yet be strong and powerful like a high D. For the level blend, they have all 4 conflicting at the same time. So I think that's what your question was referring to. Can a person have equal?
Oh, hi, I am Heman's husband speaking here. We both are attending it. Hi, David.
Hi, how
A
are
great
you?
present. Great, fine, thanks. A great presentation. I'm impressed. I'm inspired.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I've got my friends. I know they're following a wrong ideology, but it's very hard to convince them. I know they are blinded in their mind. How to convince them?
What kind of personality is your friend?
Okay.
Remember the two questions. Is your friend more outgoing or reserved? Can you answer that question for me?
Not reserved, definitely not reserved.
Okay, so they're more outgoing than reserved, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Second question, are they more task-oriented or people?
It's mixed. A little bit of task, a little bit of people. It's mixed both.
Which one do you think is the majority?
Okay, it's people-oriented.
Okay, so he's a high I-type personality. And I don't know I don't know what the type or ideology that you're following or what he's following, but to convince a high I, to persuade a high I, it's all about what other people think about that person. So if you can use that angle to convince him to rethink something, think about, what will your standing be in society if you continue this path? What influential people think of you if you continue with this ideology. So you use what drives them to help persuade them. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Thanks, David.
Yes.
Thank you.
And absolutely, I will share my email. I see that is a question. I'm going to post that into the chat right now. I type slowly. Okay, there it is. And feel free to email me. I would love to hear from each one of you. I travel a lot, so I probably won't answer everyone exactly quickly, but eventually I will. But I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and share with you, because I do believe this is, in my opinion, it's one of the most important pieces of information you can hear, because all of life, all of business is about relationships. And you can go to my website. I'll type that in right now as well. It's empoweringsmallbiz.com, and you can buy all of my books. I wrote 4 books. I'm working on the 5th book right now, and all of my books are on the website. And the DISC assessments, you can get DISC assessments in different languages for kids, for teenagers. We have things for marriages. There's a lot of stuff on the website that you can go to and share that. So in fact, let me just pull that up really quickly.
I don't want to upset a man trying to multitask.
And I'm horrible at multitasking, but can you see my website now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So yeah, go to my website and click on products. And right here is where the store for DISC lives. You can click on this and it opens up to the different types of, there's a video talking a little bit about uncovering your strengths. I would recommend that you get just the standard assessment. So when you click on this, it's $39.95. You take the assessment online. It produces a 30-page report about you. We have a 50, we have a 65 page. You're going to be overwhelmed, but if you want to just a standard, I would recommend this. We have hiring insights. So if you're wanting to hire people, if that's your job, this will help you to hire the right person. We have sales training based on how to sell to the different types of personalities. We even have fitness. We have teen and child versions in English, French, and Spanish. So there's a lot of resources on the website that you can go to. So let's bring that back. I apologize. Also on that same page, my books, courses, some wall art with some of my original quotes on it. So just feel free to go there, get whatever you want. We're friends, and I would appreciate the support. And so let's go to the question by the young lady.
Okay, thank you. I presented earlier on this morning about leadership and motivation, and went through the different styles of leadership. And how motivation runs through them all. And it was quite interesting in your breakdown of the 4 groupings. But in all of them, there is a pattern of leadership style and motivation. And so if I give you the question of how would you sum up DISC into describing a leadership and motivation definition?
Great question. And I do a lot of leadership training based on DISC. Every personality type, the D, I, S, and the C, can be very powerful leaders. It's important that we understand that. They just lead differently. And one of the best ways to get there and show you something, let me see if I can just draw something up on another PowerPoint. Okay, all right. Let's just fast forward this real quick. Somewhere, let's get out of here. I thought it was in this one, but it talks about the different styles of leadership. It might be in another one later on. But so yeah, if and I'll just share with you on the screen here. If this is your organization and it's going this way, the D style leader will always lead from a front position. They'll always be going forward. They're leading the group. That's where they lead from, the position that they lead from. An I-type leader will lead from the center of the organization, kind of with being people around them. Imagine what we could do if we can do this together, and it's exciting, and they lead from right here. An S-type will lead from behind and support and encourage and guide, kind of like a mother hen would guide her chicks. They're much more supportive, so they lead from behind, but they encourage. And then the C-type personality will lead as a drill sergeant from the side, where they can look forward, they can look in, and they can look behind. They have a much more of a cognitive approach to leadership, and they lead from this position, and they're marching alongside of. They're separated, they're not emotional, but they lead over here. So every type of personality can be very effective as a leader. In fact, some of your, like Apple, Steve Jobs was a high S-type personality. The D-type personality gets a lot of the attention because they're so powerful and they're big and they're strong, and they're really good at leading muscle. In other words, they capture your muscle. They tell you to do things, and so you go do it. People follow them effectively, but they're scared not to do what they ask because of the consequences. So it's more of a dictatorial type of a leadership style for the high D. versus the S, they capture your heart, and the heart is much more powerful than the muscle. And you do things for the S because you believe in it, you want to, and because they've captured your heart, not just your muscle. The I's capture your imagination and excitement, and they lead that way. And the C's capture your brain, your cognitive skills, and they lead in that type of a format. Does that answer the question that you were proposing?
Yes, I mean, I could explore it further with you, but I know time's an issue now, but thank you very much.
Thank you for the question. Here it says, does it mean C-type is more into transformational leadership type, or transformational types of leadership is a combination of those types of a person? C-types are very transformational. In other words, the reason they research, the reason they analyze is for the sake of transformation. And they want to change things. And what drives them is because of the motivation of being correct and being precise and being on point. But again, leadership, regardless of personality, should be transformational. If you're not moving, it's impossible to be transformed if you're not moving, and a leader's job is to move an organization. So movement equals transformation. So again, it is all types of personality type leadership is transformational leader. Okay, I'm going to put a lid on it unless there's any other questions really quick. I'll pause for a second. So thank you very much. I'm going to leave you with one of my personal quotes. And that quote is, suppose all it takes for you to create something extraordinary is to believe that you were created extraordinarily for that very purpose. Thank you, and God bless you.
And thank you.